The imperial palace of Constantinople was agitated by the news of the death of the empress who was called Kirka here. It was said that Attila had burned in despair the palace of his wife, which had become terribly empty. Honoria's heart beats with involuntary admiration. Attila is not only an elect of God who received the divine golden sword, but he is still capable of a great love. Like Honoria herself, he is the founder of the new victorious empire. She is a princess, having right over the throne of the ancient and prestigious empire that was deprived of her Augusta title as a result of the intrigues of Aetius and Valentinian. Now, after Kirka's death, she can become Hun Empress and give Attila the right to possession of half the Western Roman Empire. Honoria betrays no one, she wants to save the Roman civilization. It was Valentinian who betrayed her, having ordered her dear Eugene to be killed. And Theodosius, after having wiped the defeat with the sword, decided to defeat Attila by the poison. What cowardice! With what intelligence and skill he was put back in his place and ridiculed by Attila. No, she does not pity her brother and her uncle, but she will spare their lives, and send them to the convent to pray to God to forgive them their great sins. Besides, they pray to God all the time, but they have no sincere faith in their souls. Despite his fanatical religiosity, Augusta Pulcheria ordered Count Saturnin to kill 2 priests close to the former Empress Eudoxia. No, they will have to be sent into exile in a remote periphery of the Hun Empire, for example. In Siberia, Honoria sees Attila again on a white horse with his golden sword in his dream. No, we must not wait any longer. The decision is made. She will be the first lady in the world. Must be sent a messenger to Attila with a letter and an engagement ring. Who can do this delicate and discreet mission? Of course, Jacinte. This young servant is very positive, unlike the other eunuchs, and feels for him a sympathy and a sincere friendship. All these years they have spoken a great deal. It is only necessary to discuss with him how to better answer the questions of the Hun Emperor. Attila is excited. He has the same feeling when the Hun shepherd brought him the golden sword of victory found in the steppe of the Black Sea. Tangra now gives her the hand of a proud princess, heir to the throne of an empire, and of what empire? He asks the messenger, "Tell me all about the princess. How old is she? Is she beautiful? Is she smart? Why is she not married?" Jacinte recounts all that he knows. Honoria is beautiful, she is faithful and sincere, she was unhappy and deserves more than all other women help and love. Attila listens attentively to the narrative, asks new questions. Undoubtedly, Honoria is sent to him by God himself, to facilitate the realization of the plan of the creation of the Roman Hunnic Empire. It is enough to return Honoria his title of Augusta and they will have all the legitimacy to govern the Western Roman Empire. Thus, Attila and Honoria compose an ideal couple to rule together the future Roman Hunnic Empire. Attila gently puts Jacinte on the shoulder and says, "Orestes spoke to me a little about the fate of Princess Honoria. But your story touched me. I perceive as a great honor the proposal of the princess. And I am going to send an ambassador to Ravenna to ask the Emperor Valentinian for permission for Honoria to come to our capital." The news of Jacinthe's mission reached the Roman emperors. He is intercepted and arrested on the border. Under a terrible torture, he confessed everything. Emperor Valentinian began to tremble with fear. Again he invited the seers to the palace so that they might predict something reassuring. Another passion developed in his weak soul was magic. which shocked Christians and contradicted the laws directed against paganism. But it was his only weapon, which he thought he could oppose to Aetius and his powerful protector Attila. The letter of Honoria has engendered in Valentinian the hope of trying to push to the confrontation these two terrible enemies. In fact, the prospect of Attila's marriage with Honoria caused a great deal of concern for Aetius, who dreamed all his life of being a co-leader of the Romano-Hunnic Empire and become the legal ruler of the whole territory of the former Roman Empire. His intrigues and his treachery were surely well known to Honoria, who would remove such a doubtful personage from power. Only the Emperor Theodosius, in order to avoid at all costs a new conflict with the Huns, advised to send Honoria to Attila. Princess Honoria was rushed to Italy and forced to marry an old and rich senator. Having learned this news, Attila remarks sadly, "Waste. Do they think that may prevent me from marrying Honoria? Now my actions for the protection of the princess will have an even more noble and legitimate character." Orestes confirms, "One may think that Roman history is not known in Ravenna. For example, Octave removed pregnant Livia from Tiberius Neron. She gave birth 3 months after a child of her first husband. The Emperor Augustus always kept tender sentiments for Livia until the end of his days, and he died in his arms." Attila exclaims, "Valentinian will be punished for his refusal to become my parent. Without our help his empire would not have existed for a long time. Aetius, the true leader of this rotting empire, is my vassal who twice lent me solemn oaths of fidelity before our armies mobilized for his salvation. If he forgets that, he will be punished severely for this perjury in accordance with our laws."
Қалай сүйсінбесін, а? Жоқ, енді соза берге болмас. Аттилаға Батыс империяның жартысын иелену құқығын бер алам.
Honoria! Жынапасыз!
Содан кейін қалған жартысында өз иелігімізге өткізе аламыз. Ағам Валентиненнің сазайын тартқызатын күн туды. Жоқ, енді соза беруге болмас. Жасен, Аттилаға хат және неке жүзігімді жолдауым керек. Дереу.